Hi, everyone. Welcome to Me Vision Academy. It's wonderful to be with you. We are all about helping leaders to lead self, others, organization, society. And all of these are absolutely important. More and more, I see a revival of leading society in our country and maybe across the world. And leaders are taking ownership of their communities. And I think that's a really, really good thing. It's certainly crucial in our country, that's for sure. Someone I believe who is doing a stellar job at leading on all four levels, leads himself very effectively, leads others and organization, and certainly on a societal level, I think he's a great example, is Alvin Jordan. He's the senior engineering manager at Mogalakwena mine. They are part of the Valterra Platinum Group, and their mine is outside Mokopane. You're one of the largest, if not the largest, open cast platinum mine in the world. Is that correct?
Yes, Adrian, we are the largest open cast platinum mine in the world.
That's fantastic. And you are the senior engineering manager there. But welcome, Alvin.
Thanks, Adrian. Thanks for giving me this interview. If I can just quickly jump in, you always ask us the purpose. So for me, the purpose that I want to drive with this interview is, what stuck with me is that you said the world, you did that survey and it shows the world is producing bad leaders and we need to get better leaders. That for me is a problem. And why it's a problem is because I know so many good leaders, but they're just hiding. And I think we need to get them out of hiding. We need to mobilize them. So I hope that with this interview, it will spark something in the good leaders and that they would start standing up. And they are leading so well in small areas, but maybe branch out from where they are leading and, let all the good leaders come together.
Come out of the woodwork. Yeah, Alvin is referring to a poll we did a few years ago. Is the world producing better or worse leaders in politics and business? And 76 to 86% people voted the world is producing worse leaders. And our dilemma was we are seeing good leaders everywhere. Yet all research indicates that the standard of leadership is dropping. So there's a bit of a dichotomy there, which we're now trying to discover. And of course, in the process, trying to lift the standards of leadership globally. Before we head to the leading of society, I think one of the big obstacles, of course, why leaders are not coming out of the woodwork is they are busy. Yeah, I mean, and you're in exactly that position to be the senior engineering manager at such a large and prominent mine can be a very good excuse to not lead society and do everything else that you're doing, to not prepare for the comrades and the Ironman, to not, all those things. There can be many excuses. So before we go there, how big is this mine? How prominent is it? Just tell us what you can about this mine. How early in the morning are you already on the job? What does your job entail? It's not a Mickey Mouse job.
Adrian, let me start by just quickly introducing platinum. So platinum is a metal, a precious metal like you know. This precious metal is used in various products in the industry. It's used in catalytic converters of motor vehicles. So it purifies the air. So in terms of decarbonization on a global scale, we are right up there in producing this material that cleans the air. It's also used in medical products. If you would have like a pacemaker, for example, platinum would be one of the materials they use in it. It's a good conductor. It's sterile. Also, in chemotherapy, platinum is a big product that they use, or a big component. So platinum is hugely important in the world to better the lives of people. So Mogalakwena is one of the largest resources. We refer to the ore body as a resource. It's like when we drill for exploration, and then you need to map out the platinum reef body, and you need to capitalize how you're going to extract it. And once you're there, you can call it is like indicated and measured, so it's real, and you can use it for monetary funding or stuff like this. It becomes valuable, and you can put it in your account statement. So Mogalakwena, just on what is already drilled, explored, measured, indicated, is got 85 years of mining. Now, just to let you know, we move between 250 and 300,000 tons every day, Monday to Sunday, from the 1st of January to the 31st of December. So just think of 300,000 tons. It's like a mountain a day we move. So to move that, we've got the largest equipment, or some of the largest equipment. For example, we've got the largest rope shovel in the world. We've got dump trucks that carries 310, 320 tons, each dump truck. So, and I'm the chief mechanic over these lot. We need to make sure the pits remain dry. We need to feed all the equipment with electricity. So it's like a little city you're running. To help me do that, I've got a very strong team. And that's where I realized if you take on a massive task, you cannot do it on your own. And you cannot tell everybody breathe in, breathe out. You need to have people that can also think, also have vision, are also passionate, and wants to generally make life better for others. So I hope I've answered you. Platinum, very important in the world. This mine, very big. This mine, just this mine, takes out as much platinum every year as some companies do. So to just give you the scale of the mine.
That's huge. And to do that, you and many other of your colleagues arrive at the mine usually very early. Your day starts when? What time?
Yeah, I try to be at the mine just before 6 every morning. And then, obviously, I'm a creature of habit. So go through the production figures, look if there was any incidents of significance through the night, just get a feel with the people that was here through the night. It's nice to be early. You can have a conversation. You understand what happens through the night with the teams before they go home, and you're ready for the teams that come in. So it's like you're one step ahead, and you have that knowledge already to guide people in the best possible way for the day, because we want to set up everybody for success.
So your day is obviously super busy. You've got a big mind to run from the technical side with your engineers and your team. You integrate with the miners and everyone else who tries to achieve your numbers. But amongst that, all of that, we've got Mokopane in the background. So this town that kind of relies on the success of the mine as well in many ways. And you have yourself and your family. You run the Comrades almost every year. Certainly you did this year and last year and several other times before that. You do lots of other events as well. So you keep yourself fit. You eat healthy, very disciplined. How do you do all that? And why do you lead yourself? Why do you improve yourself? Why do you work on yourself so hard? It takes more time, doesn't it? How do you then make time for leading or helping lead a town to a better place?
Yeah, Adrian, okay, it's time management is obviously big in my life. Setting up every day, trying to get a routine that you stick to, listing down everything you want to do. You need to say, okay, when do I get up? When do I drive to work? What do I do when I'm at work to get maximum out of the day? When must I be done with the day at work so that I can drive back home? Then I must spend time with the family. Then you must exercise. So it's all part of that motivation, direction, structure. So I think my motivation is to help others. I think good leaders can do bad things too. To get back to the point, I think if you do things that improve other people's lives, make them happy, make their lives better, then you a good leader that do good things. Now, let's take drowning, for example. If somebody is drowning and you want to save them, you cannot save them if you cannot swim yourself. So you must make sure that you can swim first to save your own life. And that's leading self, if I can use that analogy. So why do that? the end goal is to help other people make their lives better. I cannot do that if I cannot sustain or have endurance myself or lead myself. So that is the reason I lead myself. And how do I get the time? You sit down, you list it, you schedule it out, and you make sure you stick to your routine.
So I guess what I'm getting at, you've got a busy life. Okay, it's a big job that you have, a big responsibility. You do look after yourself and your family. You lead them, you lead yourself. Why do you have this passion to help lead your society, your community, Mokopane more specifically? And in fact, your desire is broader than that. But you have somehow inspired many others to get involved in turning around that town where you live and a lot of your colleagues live. Where does that passion and that vision and that insight, foresight come from?
Yeah, Adrian, if I can give you a bit of a philosophical answer, I think one day I'm going to lie on my deathbed and I'm going to have the opportunity maybe to look back at my life. And then I want to say, yes, I was here for 70 or 80 years and I really gave it a go. Yeah. And if I look back, I'm like proud of that. That is, now I can cash in my chips. I can go to the long trees, like they say in Afrikaans. So I would like to, in this short little time I'm on Earth, I don't know why I want to do it. I just know I want to do it. I want to make the best of it. I want to live to the fullest. And that's what drives me.
Yeah. So you can tell us now what you've done and what you've learned in the process, okay? Because a lot of people might sit around in their small towns or in their communities and they keep saying someone needs to fix this, someone needs to do that. And very often that someone is me, you. But before we get there, what is your desire for Mokopane? It's a little dorpie, a little town. What do you hope from a vision point of view, your involvement, Mogalakwena involvement, and the community's involvement will do in that town?
Look, Adrian, the vision for me is to bring everyone there together, to unite all of us. And exactly like what you said, is that we don't wait for somebody else to come and make our lives better, but we as a community, we make our lives better. Everybody just do his little bit. We make the place like a mini Sun City, and we are proud to live there. Our children grows up in a very good environment, and we prosper. That is my vision for this little town. So how do we do that? Okay, let's start by cutting the grass and filling the potholes. I think that will make everybody happy. So looking at things that everybody complains about, listing them, then coming up with a plan to go and solve it, and then rallying other people's that's like-minded to come and join me. And there's a lot of like-minded people here. And if I can maybe hijack this point a bit, pulling it back to bad leaders. The world's producing bad leaders. Now we say we must get good leaders out. In my quest, I started filling potholes and cutting grass. And then there was another person that did the same. And he says, hey, why are you doing this? And we started talking. And then he says, but he also knows another person. And quickly, this just started growing. And we just started talking. And we started planning together, and it grew. We got the town comes together once a month on a Saturday morning. We bring children with. Obviously, we plan it properly. We resource it. Everybody chips in a little bit, and you'll be surprised how far 100 Rand or 200 Rand goes if 100 or 200 people chips in. And we start cleaning areas, and I tell you, that's the best 3 hours of my life. And what I've learned is there's a lot of people there that's like-minded, but somebody is just waiting for that somebody to start. And once they start, I tell you, you will not stop it. And that's why I want to call out the good leaders that's waiting for somebody who's a bit hesitant, who's unsure. You will never be sure. Go buy tar, clean out the hole and throw it in the hole. And you'll be amazed what happens from there.
So if you have the right motives and you realize I'm that someone, and you just start doing something, the first surprise is you'll bump into others who are like-minded. It'll just happen. You'll start moving in those circles, and before you know it, you're part of a momentum, part of a group. I guess the leaders emerge. It's always more than one, but the leaders emerge to plan and to make it more coordinated. I think one of the foundations that you come from, and one would call upon anyone who's in your position, mines are often a good example. Mines around Welkom, or mines around Mokopane, or mines around Secunda, or wherever, that with those resources, if leaders catch the vision, that helps, doesn't it? The fact that you come from Mogalakwena, which is inextricably linked to the town that must provide water and electricity and this and that, it just makes sense that it's successful.
Yeah, Adrian, we as a mine, we have to spend a certain amount of our profits on social upliftment. Some of that social upliftment is improving the town. So yes, that culture is like part of how we do things. So that helps, certainly does. The second thing from the mine's point of view, if you look straight from a mine's point of view, to attract talent, because mines are not normally next to Kampsbaai or places where people want to stay. It's normally in the bushveld where nobody wants to stay. So we need to make it attractive for people, especially talent, because talent can get work in Kampsbaai. So to attract that talent, we also want to make the town attractive. So there's this portion of it as well. I always say a good plan has got many positive outcomes. So the mine gets its license, we attract talent, and we uplift our community. Yeah, why not?
Why not? But my experience, Alwyn, is that therefore, because of, shall we say, that's legislation, a lot of large corporates do put some effort and resources into communities around them. But they are not turning around towns. They are not moving communities. They're literally just doing things. And again, it's like the good leaders that must come out of the woodwork. I feel like good organizations must come out of the woodwork and do it more coordinated, with more passion, with more genuine motives. They are all doing something, but we're not seeing towns being turned around as we may see a Mokopane or some others.
Yeah, you see, to turn around a town takes more than money. It takes you being involved. It takes you caring for it. It takes you being authentic about your motives. Okay? So the money, I think, why are you, if you're a mining company, you need to give this money. Why are you doing it? Are you doing it because you want your mining license, or are you doing it because you actually want to uplift people's lives? I think that is the first question you must ask yourself. I'm clear in that. I want to change people's lives. So I think if I can call out to good leaders again, if you are part of a mine that has got social upliftment or social funds that you're spending, visit it, look at it. Is it making a difference? Whose life is better because of that money you spent? Is it the consultant who did the work for you? Is it the construction worker? Or is it the actual people who stays there? And how is it better? I think that is something we as good leaders, we can mobilize people. And sorry, I'm maybe generalizing. So sorry, good leaders, if you disagree with me, I'm happy to enter into a debate. But I think we don't stop and look what we're doing. Is it turning a dial? Is it moving society? Is it really making a difference? And I think that's where we need to pause and say, we spent this money, we cleaned this area. Is the grass going to grow back? And did we actually put a system in place to maintain it?
Don't just put anyone in a position to spend your organization's little or lots of money in community projects if they don't have a passion and they are not personally going to get involved. In other words, they really want to move the dial. If you just give it to a tick box person, then it's never going to move towns and stop the decline that we're seeing in our society. Are you hopeful that we can mobilize motives of organizations, of individuals, of city councils, of locals. Are you hopeful in your experience in Mokopane that we can do this in more towns than just where you are currently?
Very hopeful. I'm actually very excited about it, and I'm not disillusioned. I know the decay there. I fixed many a municipal infrastructure already. I think we've got the skill. I think we've got the people who can do this. I think we've got the will to do it. I just think we need to ignite that fire. I hope a lot of people hear this interview, and they can phone me anytime. They can get a hold of you. You can give them my number, and we can phone and collaborate. I'm on your Think Lead app. They can connect with me there. I think it's time we get together, we encourage each other. And you don't need to paint the whole town out. You don't need to redo the whole town's road infrastructure or pipes. Just start with something small and gain that momentum. So yes, Adrian, I'm very hopeful. I think it's coming. Whether I'm doing it or I see more and more people starting to do it. Very hopeful.
And is that because there's no alternative? You know, when someone's in a corner, you know, you've got to do something. And I'm seeing people feeling like we're in a corner, we better do something. The other day I walked into a hardware store here in Ramsgate South, and a retired lawyer, that I know, I met him on the beach. He just bumped into me, and I said, "Yeah, what are you doing here?" I was just looking at a little shower plug thing. He said, "No, I'm getting the necessary equipment. We're filling potholes in my road." I said, "What? You are?" "Yes." He says, "We've got guys helping us, but we're getting stuff and we're making it happen. Our road doesn't look good. We're filling." I said, "Wow, well done." You know, that's how you do it. They are literally getting a couple of, I mean, he's older. It's going to be more difficult for him to do the physical labor necessarily, but he's got people doing it, and he's managing, supervising them. That excited me, you know, people getting involved like that. So we do have hope. Maybe a final message. I mean, it's not always going to be easy, is it? If your motives are not right, you're going to run into a few Saturdays with few people rocking up, and suddenly you're going to think, I'd rather mow my own lawn than mow the town's lawn. It's not going to be easy, Owen. What got you through those maybe moments of feeling hopeless? It's not going to work.
Yeah, we all get that. Let me tell you, I was very despondent. We started with a bang. In the one area, we cleaned it up nicely. After the first rains, the grass grew back. Oh, yes, now we have to do it all over again. And then it got me so, I don't want to say depressed, but it was demoralizing. But I don't think you must focus on that. I think know that you'll have great days and know that you'll have bad days. Don't make decisions in the bad days. Just wait it out. Tomorrow the sun comes up, you feel better again. Go fetch the lawnmower, cut it now again. And then become more clever. You know, don't keep cutting it. Think out of the box. You want to minimize the maintenance or the effort you put in there. So think of solutions in that way. If you're struggling, you're doing something wrong. And then you need to stop, look, assess, and manage. We call it a slam at the mine. So do a slam. So that is the message I would give: is you're gonna go feel down. It's coming. That check is in the mail, but it also goes away. Wait for yourself to feel better. Don't make decisions when you feel down. And when you feel better, think of a better way. What is bothering you? Let's change direction. So to the other leaders, come on, good leaders doing good things, want to change the world. Let's get together. Let's start doing. Bietjie less talking, bietjie more doing. That is my message to everybody. And please phone me. If you gooi premix into the portal and nobody comes and helps you, you can phone me. I'll come and help you. That lawyer friend, I haven't been in Margate or where do you guys stay now? I haven't been in the South Coast for some time. I'll gladly come and fill a couple of potholes there with peanut butter.
I'll tell them. We'll give you a place to stay and you can come help fill potholes. Owen Jordan, Senior Engineering Manager at Mogalakwena Mine, part of the Valterra Platinum Group. Thank you for your energy, for looking after yourself, your people, your organization, and your community. And thank you for leading SOOS, for leading self, for leading others, for leading organization, and also leading society. We all have to get involved on those 4 levels, and then there's hope, then there will be success. And we hope that you can retire quickly and take this nationally. We know of other organizations trying to do the same thing. So let's connect and make sure that we all make a difference and move the needle. Thank you for your time.